Well, hello, everyone. My name is Tom Johnson, and I'm the director of the EOGOGICS Web Live programs. Having been involved in computer-based training in one form or another for more than 25 years now, it's my pleasure to welcome each of you to this Web Live session. For those of you who may be new to EOGOGICS, I'll refer you to the About EOGOGICS page on our website. Suffice to say that the EOGOGICS team, led by KK Aurora, has been involved with many landmark telecom projects worldwide during the past 20 years or so. In fact, I believe KK is in our audience here somewhere. KK, are you there?
I am, Tom. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this program.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Since Web Live may be a new medium for some of you, let me tell you a little bit about how this session will work. First, this is indeed a live program. It's being presented from a number of different locations around the United States and delivered via our old friend, the Internet, which remains the world's largest send and pray network. So if the gremlins get you and you can't hear the audio, please try the teleconference line. If you get bumped off the Internet and can't get back on, please try to listen on the phone and follow along as best you can with the PDF of the class slides, which can also be used for note-taking and later review. Now, if you would, please take a minute to look around your screen. What you're seeing is called the Leader's View. It has a stack of panels on the left, attendees, feedback, and chat, and there's a content window to the right, and then some icons and menus up on the upper left-hand corner across the top. Notice the icon of the raised hand. You click it once to raise your hand, and click it once again to lower your hand. The blue square, a little to the right of the hand, toggles full screen mode. Once we get started, I'm going to put everybody into full screen mode to make sure the slides are easy to read. Let me show you what it looks like. Full screen for all. There. Now, over on the lower right of your screen, you should see a small semi-transparent block where you'll recognize the hand raise icon, the screen mode toggle, and the names of the panels from the left side of the Leader's View screen. You have complete access to all of that in full screen mode. Just move your mouse over that transparent block and it all becomes active. Now, for most of the class, we'd suggest you leave your screen in full screen mode. But if you want to change back and forth, just click on that blue icon, as I'm going to do now. And we're back to Leader's View. And finally, please notice the chat window. The public chat is just that. It's public, so do be conscious of what information you decide to share there. The private tab allows you to communicate privately with the instructor. If you're not dialed into the telephone conference bridge, please use the chat window to communicate with the instructor and to ask your questions during the class. Finally, if the phone bridge gets too noisy, I'll jump in and mute all the phone lines from time to time. Just ignore any announcements you might hear. Now, let me introduce our presenter for today. Dr. Paul Kakaias, is a principal member of the EOGOGICS telecommunications faculty, and he's one of our industry's most knowledgeable and dynamic presenters. With more than 30 years in wireless and wireline, he brings depth and clarity that few can match. Paul has taught thousands of classes to spellbound audiences worldwide. His teaching repertoire is quite extensive and includes 3G, LTE, 4G, WiMAX, OFDM, MIMO, HSDPA, HSUPA, or just plain HSPA, UMTS, GPRS, EDGE, GSM, CDMA 2000, CDMA, IDEN, and TETRA. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Paul Kakaias.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Tom. A lot of acronyms there, but as you were reading them, I thought, yeah, that's true. He's not lying. But thank you indeed for the nice introduction and for all the help that I might need as we navigate the slides and the feedback and the chat and all that. Everybody else, welcome. And this is obviously a different medium than what most of us have grown up with. So if you have any questions, issues in terms of following or what have you, feel free to use any of the means that Tom described to get in touch with us, and we'll try to remain in sync and resolve any issues. So I'm ready to jump in. I see that I believe everybody that is going to join us has joined us. So we're ready to go, and I will from time to time ask you for your feedback. And I just activated the feedback panel. I hope everybody sees it. And just to make sure that everybody sees it, would you just vote for A, B, C, D, or E, whichever way you want to? And this is just a random test to see if everybody is on board with that. Okay, I see some people are voting, and good. So that works. That's great. So from time to time, I will ask you for feedback of a multiple choice nature or true, false, or whatever. And that's just our best approximation to being in a live situation where I try to make sure that the audience doesn't fall asleep. Don't be shy about answering. There is no test here of being right or being wrong. In fact, sometimes I like to be provocative to get the blood flowing, and the answers that you might feel are the right ones may or may not be the right ones. So that's okay too. So let's go ahead and get started. The focus of today's class is obviously the enabling technologies for 4G, and in particular OFDM and MIMO. Obviously, please respect the intellectual property rights as articulated on this slide. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at what happened over the past 10 years in terms of the development of UMTS. And while you can obviously read the slides for yourself, and the information is there, I do want to highlight what I consider to be the most important points during that evolution. In particular, back in the late 1999, officially in March 2000, the IMT 2000 requirements were met by what was then called, and still is, Release 99 of UMTS. That's because it was released officially in March 2000, but the release had started in 99. Just to make sure that we're on the same page, there is a lot of discussion, debate, etc., of what exactly is 3G and what is 4G and what's 3.5G. I don't believe in those debates. I think they're a waste of everybody's time. Having said that, the terms are out there, so we need to at least have some a common ground on which we're working. IMT 2000 was a set of requirements that if a system met, then the system was, quote unquote, eligible to be called a third generation system. As such, Release 99 did meet all those requirements, so it is a 3G or third generation system. That's not the problem. The problem is what happens going forward. What if a system, such as the UMTS system, later releases of it, meet and exceed those requirements? Those are still 3G, there's no question about it. But, I would like to differentiate myself, if I can do more, and call myself something else, like 3.5G or 4G or 3.7G. And that's where the problem gets hard. And that's why I personally am not going to try to say, okay, here's a boundary between 3G and 4G, and here's 3.5 or 3.7G. In fact, we had the same problem going from the second generation to the third generation system, and people calling the term 2.5G for such things as GPRS and Edge, and that's a similar problem. It's 2.5 or 2.7 or 2.1 or 2.9, and again, that's more or less a waste of time. So without discussing this anymore, because there is nothing more to discuss, clearly as we move forward in time, more functionality is introduced, and at what point I will abandon the term 3G and adopt the term 4G, I don't know. But by the time I get done, it's certainly 4G. In particular, Release 5 of the UMTS system introduced HSDPA